Hello, and welcome to my final presentation for IET400 Senior Project. I work as an inside sales associate for a company called Puffer Swiven in LaPorte, Texas. Puffer Swiven provides equipment, services, and solutions to the process control industry to help facilities run safely and reliably. But what exactly does that mean? Well, we are a supplier of different types of control valves, isolation valves, and relief valves, including new purchases as well as repair services. We are able to provide replacement parts for a wide range of valves from several manufacturers. A large portion of our business is the repair business. We take valves that have been in service and refurbish them back to an almost new state. Now, there are times when valves come in for repair and they are beyond what we call economical repair. That's where we get a valve in, we tear it down, and we take a look inside, and it would cost us more money to buy all the parts that we need to repair the valve as opposed to just buying a new one. So at this point, this is where our new valve service comes into play. For my senior project, I decided to apply RACI modeling to a fairly new position that our company has created in our shutdowns, turnarounds, and outages group. We have a group dedicated to the STO industry, and we work with facilities before, during, and after their turnarounds to provide a wide variety of services. There's 3 types of major maintenance events that take place at industrial facilities. One of the major differences is that shutdowns are normally unplanned events. These can occur due to a major weather event such as a hurricane or a tornado, operator error, or a catastrophic failure of equipment. Catastrophic failure usually means that a piece of equipment just wore out before they were able to get to it to maintain it or replace it. Turnarounds and outages, on the other hand, are usually meticulously planned events that facilities spend years preparing for. I previously worked for a manufacturing company, and there was times when I would see their schedules and they were planning for a turnaround that was 5 years down the road. Now, this is pretty normal for these types of facilities just because of the long lead times for new replacement valves and just all the planning that goes into these events. Now, these events can only take place when a unit or a facility is not running because they have to maintenance the equipment, and obviously you can't have process fluids running through the equipment whenever you take it out of line. So, as you can imagine, not only is a facility losing money because they aren't producing, but they're also spending money to complete these large plant overhauls. Here's a before and after example of a valve that was sent into our repair shop during a recent turnaround. This picture on the left is the day that it arrived at our shop, and the picture on the right is after we completely tore it down, cleaned it, changed out any and all worn down parts, reassembled it, and repainted it. As you can see, it almost looks brand new in the picture on the right. This is what we call a Class A repair. This is where we use the original parts from the original manufacturer and send it back out as an almost new valve. Now, this may not seem like that big of a task, but during turnarounds, as many as 60 of these types of assemblies come through our shop. And a typical turnaround schedule, from the time that the plant shuts down to the time that they try to start it back up, it can be anywhere from 30 to 45 days. And you can just imagine the importance of coordination and logistics that need to take place both at the customer site as well as at our repair shop. As mentioned earlier, our STO management group was created to help our customers throughout their turnarounds. We like to be involved as early as possible so that we can know the complete work scope and we can plan resources accordingly. This group is dedicated specifically to turnarounds, and sometimes we will even mobilize to the customer's site for the duration of the turnaround. That means that a Puffer Swiving employee will work at the customer's site, integrated with their team. This really has created a really great relationship with some of our customers because they see it as a valuable tool during their turnarounds. So, what problem have we run into with this new business venture? Well, our customers expressed a lot of frustration with the communication process during their turnaround. Since Puffer Swiving represents several different business units, there can sometimes be up to 3 different Puffer Swiving representatives that are handling their own part of a turnaround. You can just imagine the level of frustration it could be when you're on a super tight schedule and you have a question that you can't seem to get to the right person for the right answer. Being transferred from one person to the next and so on, and having to repeat your question over and over again, well, that can be pretty frustrating. So if we look at this image of how lines of communication are formed, you can see that with as little as 10 people, you can have 45 lines of communication between everyone. Now, if you've ever been involved in a turnaround, you know that there are way more than 10 people involved in planning and execution. From engineers to operators to maintenance personnel, plant managers, turnaround coordinators, procurement, shipping, receiving, and that's just at the customer end. You have a whole other set of people on the supplier end of things. You can see how this can create a challenge for information exchange. So our solution, giving our customers a single point of contact for the duration of their turnaround. We call this person an outage coordinator. This person's sole responsibility is to provide daily status updates to the customer on their valves, including where they are in our repair process and when they can expect them back at their site. In this model, you see 3 of our major business units report directly to the outage coordinator, and the outage coordinator reports directly to the customer. No longer is our customer waiting on 3 different people for information or calling 3 different people to ask questions. All they have to do is contact one person who will get them the information that they need. So to assist in the creation of a work process for the outage coordinator, I used the RACI model. I felt that this model is the best way to lay out roles and responsibilities and to assign the proper people to complete the proper task. This way, everyone that is working the turnaround knows who is responsible, who is accountable, who is to be consulted, and who is to be informed every step of the way. The roles that are most prominent during the execution stage of a turnaround, where information management is key, are the account manager, the production supervisor, the repair coordinator, and of course the outage coordinator. Our tasks are fairly simple and straightforward. Information should filter from the shop floor to the repair coordinator, from the repair coordinator to the outage coordinator, and finally from the outage coordinator to the customer. Another thing that is very important here is that any and all delays in production are reported immediately to the proper person. One major issue that our customers have stated is that when there is a delay, they aren't made aware in a timely fashion, and they may expect to have a piece of equipment at site and have gone through the trouble of allocating resources, and this could mean personnel, this could mean cranes, this could mean just about anything they've planned out, expecting this piece of equipment to arrive so they can reinstall it in the field, and no one told them that it was going to be delayed. So communication is of utmost importance throughout the turnaround. Here I have applied the RACI method to each task. You'll notice that the account manager only stays informed throughout execution. Although they are ultimately responsible for the account, this is where we still want to keep a single point of contact for the customer. So if at all possible, any and all communication should go through the outage coordinator. There are also a few tasks where one person is responsible and accountable. This ensures that not only are they taking ownership of getting the data, but they are ultimately responsible for passing the correct information on to the next person. With this method, all of the tasks are laid out and everyone can see what their part in the work process is, so there's no question on who is doing what. it's very important for this to take place early on in the planning process of a turnaround so that each person has ample time to prepare. Turnarounds should ultimately be treated as a project, complete with a work breakdown structure, critical path method, and RACI modeling. So what does the future hold for this line of business? Well, in a recent report, it was stated that in 2019, there is $1.2 billion of planned maintenance turnaround projects in the U.S. To set yourself apart from the competition, you have to be willing to spend the necessary amount of time and money implementing these sorts of work processes and creating these types of positions to help your customer have a successful turnaround. Not only will you have the opportunity to help your customer complete these projects safely and successfully, but you will build long-lasting relationships because you took the time to realize a need and provide a solution. Thank you.